Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of trying to win state in 2 events as a freshman. So you guys saw in part 1, I won sections in the 16 and 3200, qualifying for state in both events. Also PRing, running 9:10 and 4:22. We had 2 weeks between sections and state, and training's been going well in those 2 weeks. So now I'm going to give you guys some background information on the competition going in and the race strategy and predictions by people online. So I'm ranked first in the 3200 with a seat time of 9:10. And the second seat time is 9:40, so it's decent bit slower. And in the 1600, my seat time is 4:22. The second seat time is 4:22 as well, just a couple tenths faster. And then the first seat time is 4:18. So the first guy, Will, is better than everybody by a decent amount going into the race. And there's another guy just a little bit ahead of me. And there's also a guy about a couple tenths behind me at 4:22. So there's a decent amount of competition where I'm at. So yeah, it's going to be hard to win both events, but obviously the 3200 is going to be easier than the 1600. One thing to also keep in mind is that the defending champion from last year ran a 9:40 as a seat time. He ran 9:31 last year. And there's another guy in the race who's run 9:34, but he was just going easier at sections, I think. So that's why his seat time is I think it was 9:48. So it looks like I'm way ahead of everybody, but it's probably a little bit closer than it actually is because people don't always run all out at sections. So here's kind of my mindset going into the 3200 and 1600. So the 3200 is on Tuesday and the 1600 is on Wednesday. So obviously the 1600 for me is going to be harder to win. I'm ranked third instead of first in the 3200. So for me, I just want to conserve as much energy as I can in the 3200, but still win so that I'm fresh for the 1600, at least as fresh as possible. So that's kind of my goal, is just to win as easily as possible and not win by too much so that I lose a lot of energy for the next day and get sore and then get dusted in the 1600. And then the plan in the 1600 is basically to kind of draft the first 1K 1200. And I anticipated that somebody would make a move with 400 to 600 meters left in the race. And then I would follow him or whoever it is till the end, and then I would kick on them the final 100. So that was kind of the game plan going in, get as much drafting as possible, and then save it for the final 100 and make a move and hopefully win. So that's kind of the game plan going in, to conserve energy in the 3200 and the 1600 to go all out, draft as far as I can, and then make my move the final 100 in the mile. Something to also keep in mind is that the first seeded guy, Will, he's run 4:18, but he also has a 4x4 prelim the day before, and he has a 4x8 an hour or so before the 1600. So he's also going to be a little bit tired from that, whereas I'll also be tired from the 3200. So I think it'll be somewhat balanced out, which is going to play to my advantage. And the guy who's ranked second, he only has an 800 meter prelim the day before, so he's probably going to be in better shape than me and Will. So he's going to be, I would think, at a decent advantage. But I still think if I run it tactically in the 3200, that I'll have enough energy to run really well. All right, so now I'm going to read some predictions by Let's Run posters on the official 2025 track and field forum for Minnesota Track. So in the 1600, they say, does Aarons, who's the first ranked guy who runs 4:18, or he's run 4:15, but his seat time's 4:18. Does Aarons run the 4x8 beforehand and able to double back and win the 16? He was able to do it at the Hamlin Elite and run an impressive 4:19 after a sub 2 minute split, but not sure it will be enough to beat Semling and Ratch. So Ratch is the second ranked guy who's run 4:22. He's actually beaten me at another race this year by about a second and a half, so he's definitely probably better going in. And he's run 153 800, so he has speed. Will Aarons has speed, so it's going to be hard to outkick these guys, but if I have enough energy in the last lap, then maybe I can. In the 3200, they say, Semling should dominate, just not sure how fast he will go after he soloed a 9:10 at section. So yeah, he's right. It's like I've run a 9:10, so I'm better than everybody on paper, but it's like I just want to run the easiest 2 mile I can and still win the 2 mile, but do it as easily as possible so that I'm fresh for the next day. And then finally, someone said Semling's foot speed is his limiting factor, and it'll be interesting to see how he approaches the 1600. I think he has to take it from the gun and make the field hurt to have any shot whatsoever. That'll be a fun one. So basically, I'd say based on these predictions, people are saying I'm going to win the 3200, but 1600, I'm going to either get out kicked or it's going to be a really close finish, which I kind of understand going in. Like, I don't probably have the best kick, but a kick is basically just how fresh you are going into the last lap, also paired up with how good your speed is. So even if you don't have as good a speed as somebody, if you're more fresh going into the last lap, you can beat them. But yeah. So yeah, now I'm going to show you guys the race recap. So we're going to watch the race, and I'll talk over it. All right, so here we are at the start line. I have two teammates in this race, Ryan and Kellen. And yeah, they top 9 get medals, so their goal is to hopefully PR and get medals, so that's good. And I'm there doing some little fast feet or whatever. But my hope is that we run a pretty slow start and then kind of a faster last 800 so that I can conserve more energy for the mile the next day. So my plan is that people are going to go at about 71 to 72 seconds a lap. I'm going to draft, and then the final 600, I'm going to make a move. That was my plan, and then I would gap everybody, and hopefully I can ease up the final 200 and not expend more energy than I need to. So that's kind of the thought going into the race. So we're at the starting line here. The temperature is a little bit hot. It's about 80 degrees. The air quality's not great. It's because there's like wildfires in Canada, and they're coming down into Minnesota. So their air quality isn't great. The temperature's okay. The wind is good. There's like almost no wind. So conditions are okay. But obviously, if I run all out in 80 degrees, it's going to be harder than in 65. So hopefully they don't go out too fast here. But the gun goes off. I just go to the back there because I had a really bad start. I like kind of stuttered at the line, and I like rocked backwards and forwards. And right as the gun went off, I rocked backwards. So then I was just like, I'm not going to run in lane 3, so I'm just going to go to the back. So I don't run any extra distance. You can see there I'm in the back, and it's not too fast right now. Nobody's really pushing the pace, but I start to pass people because I realize somebody's going to make a move soon, and I got to get out of last. So I think we come through the 200 like 36 seconds, which is pretty slow. At least I do. I think the leaders are more like 34. But I'm moving up now. I'm like almost in the front. I'm like mid-front pack. I'm running in lane 2, which I don't like, but at this slow of a pace, it's not like a huge deal. Now we're coming up on the home stretch here, and it's still pretty like compact. There's nobody like really taking the lead yet and trying to like break away. So yeah, it's decently quick compared to how I thought it was going to go. I thought we were going to go 72 to 73, 71, like we did the year before, but we come through the first 400. I come through 71. The leaders are at 70 seconds. So I'm just drafting here, but they're starting to make a little bit of a gap between us, between like our little chase pack and the front pack. So I'm like, I'm going to hold back on this curve so I don't have to run extra distance. And then when I get to the back stretch, I'm going to start passing everybody. So I was kind of boxed in there. So I go around everybody now, and now I'm just trying to close the gap to the leaders because now, like, he has a good 3-4 second gap, and I don't want to let that grow. So it's well within my range, but I'm just trying to conserve energy and run this as easy as possible. So the leader now, he's kind of picked up the pace a little bit. I think he's running 69, 70 seconds a lap, and now he actually looks pretty fast right now. So I passed second place, and I'm trying to catch up to the guy in first. So he's run 9:34, and I raced him previously in the season, and I went with the last 1K and beat him by 7 seconds. So I know that I'm better, but he wasn't too far behind. And then we come through the 800, 221 high. He was about 220. So he's a second and a half ahead, but now the gap is closing a little bit. I don't want to do it all at once because if I do it all at once, then it takes more energy to like make a big surge. It's much more efficient to do it, slowly close the gap. But now it's starting to shrink a little bit. I'm just trying to hold good form right now and just conserve energy because, we're still early on in the race. And I can tell he's slowing down just a tad. And I'm kind of speeding up just a little bit. So we come through the first 1K, I believe, in about 256, 257. So it's a pretty fast pace, at least even compared to what I thought it was going to be. And I was like, oh no, this is going to be... I'm still confident that I'm going to win, but it's like, I don't want to run harder than I need to today. I want to be fresh for tomorrow. But yeah, so now I finally kind of catch up to him, and I can get a good draft off him and just kind of relax a little bit and not think about how I have to catch up, but I can just kind of sit back and just ride the train till 600 to go when I got to make my move. So I can tell at this point, 1,200 meters in, we come through 331, 332 kind of. So it's pretty quick. We're on about 925, 926 pace, which, like I said, is quicker than I expected. But I can tell now it's starting to slow down a little bit. I'm kind of recovering after I made my move to catch up. So right now, the wind is kind of like on the home stretch. So it was very weird. Normally it's always windy on the back stretch, but this time it was windy on the home stretch. So one thing about drafting that you got to keep in mind is when you get to draft off of them, and they break the wind for you. But then when the wind's at your back, you take away some of their tailwind. So kind of give them double whammy there. But we're coming through now. We're almost at about 1,500 here, and I can tell it's really starting to slow down now. He's like kind of settling in. He usually goes out a little bit harder the first bit and then settles in the middle, and then he has a pretty good finish. So when I'm prepared to make my move, I want to do it decisively, so he's not like thinking he has a chance to beat me. And then it could lead obviously to him fighting harder and either me losing or expending more energy than I want to. So we come to the mile there, 4:45, so obviously we're on 9:30 pace. It's pretty quick, but as I said, we came through 3:31 or 2. The last lap now was a 73, so we went from running like 70 to 71s now to 73, and we're still kind of slowing down. So yeah. So many people kind of wonder, like, why am I wearing the nose strip? So basically what it does is you put it on your nose, and it's like really sticky, and then it pulls your nostrils like apart kind of, and then you can breathe in more air through your nose, which makes you more efficient because you have more oxygen. So that's basically the thought behind that. But I just used it for a couple workouts leading up to state, and I had some good workouts, so I'm like, maybe I should try it in the race. And yeah, it's so far it's working pretty well, especially in the heat when breathing is a little bit harder in the more humid air. So I thought it was pretty helpful during the race. But now we're coming up on 3 laps to go. I notice he picks it up, I think, a little bit there on that curve, coming around the curve. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's trying to make a move a little early here, because I think he knows that I'm here right behind him, and he probably wants to break me before the end. But we come to the 2K there, 6 minutes, so the last lap was 74, so we slowed down even more because the previous lap was 73. And the chase pack now, I think they're about 7-8 seconds back, so there's nobody really like catching up to us, but they're all trying to. But it's for them, it's a very brisk pace, but especially in the conditions that we were in. But now we come up on, this is about 1K to go here, and I'm just thinking, okay, 1 lap to go. When I go, I need to make my move decisively, break him right away, and make it so that he just kind of gives up on me and doesn't think he's even has a chance. It's very interesting because before the race, like, normally when I warm up with my teammates, like, we're all like talking and joking, but before this one we were all kind of nervous. Nobody was really saying anything, and that kind of makes me nervous because, like, when other people are nervous, and I'm like, ooh, like, this is the state meet, this is the one meet of the year that really, really matters. And I really didn't have a big reason to be nervous besides the fact that I have really nothing to gain in this scenario because I'm the expected guy to win. So it kind of makes you a little nervous because the only thing that can happen is, like, me either winning or losing. So it's either I do what it's expected of me or I lose, and that would be, really bad because everybody thinks, oh, I'm going to win. So now we come up with 700 meters to go, and I'm about to make my move here. I wait to do on the straight here, and what I'm doing right now is I'm testing him. I pull up even with him to see how much energy does he have. If he fights with me, then he's got some energy left. If he doesn't try at all to fight me, which he didn't try, then he's probably spent a little bit. So then with 600 to go, I really kind of throw in a surge here to see. There I go. So I've really picked up the pace, and this 200, I believe, from 2600 to 2800, I think the 200 was 31 seconds. So it's pretty quick. I've really picked it up. I didn't feel like it was actually that bad until we come in a little headwind here in the home straight, but I feel pretty good right now. I have more gears in me, but I'm going fast, but not going flat out, so I can still conserve for the next day, but decisively win. So we come through the bell lap. They're 8:21. My last lap was 67. He didn't really speed up, which if you're about to see me, I'm about to look back here. And I think it's with 300 to go, I look back. That's what I planned before the race, at least. So I look back right there, and I see that from what I saw, he was like much closer than he was, looking back on it. But yeah, the gap's pretty big now. And then with 200 to go, I was like, okay, I thought he was kind of like close to me, which I should have looked back probably here again. But I kind of throw in another gear, and I'm going kind of hard on this curve, but not like flat out. And then in the home straight, I realized that I got a huge gap, so I just kind of ease off and celebrate a little bit. You can see just kind of, I'm going still pretty fast, but not like blazing. I look back one last time just to make sure nobody's close. Do a little celebration. 9:25 winning time. Last lap was 64, which, like I said, it wasn't all out. It was still close, but definitely a good finish. There's my family all cheering. And yeah, so I got my goal for the first day, which is just win. I probably won by a little bit too much. But yeah, overall, really good. All right, so here we are on the day of the 1600. The recording here is actually on the back stretch. My dad is recording. There will be some clips on the home stretch, but I'm feeling pretty good after the 3200. I'm a little bit sore, but nothing too bad because I didn't go quite all out the day before. The wind is gusting a little bit on the backstretch, so it's not super ideal on the backstretch, but yeah, that's the wind. And then the temperature is moderate, so at 70, so it's pretty nice, I'd say. Conditions wise, the strategy is just to draft the first 1K, and if nobody makes a move until the 1K, I'm supposed to take the lead. And if somebody does make a move, I just follow them and I kick the final 100. So that's kind of the strategy going in. The gun goes off there. I'm in the double waterfall right now, and I actually end up getting pushed into like the second lane of the double waterfall, which isn't ideal. I was trying to get out fast, but it didn't really work well. So right now I'm kind of at the back, but I'm passing quite a few people as I take the tangent in to cut in. So right here I try to cut in, but you can see the guy in blue there, he cuts in before I do, and then I get pushed out to almost lane 3 on that curve. So it's really not great decision making on the first lap. I should have either gone slower or faster, and I picked the middle where there's people and traffic, so I had to run in lane 2. But either way, here we come up. Owen now is in the lead. His C time is 4:22. He got second last year. He's in the white and the red, and he's in the lead by a good second there. You can see there's a pretty big gap, but I'm just trying to close the gap between the chase pack and Owen, which wasn't a great idea looking back on it. I should have let somebody else bridge the gap because he ended up fading, but I didn't know that during the race. So I end up leading here, coming into the wind now at 500 meters, but the gap is still pretty big. He's probably got 1.5, 2 seconds on us, and he went out in 63 seconds the first lap. We were out in 65 the first lap, so you know, we're a decent bit behind. Brady there is with the blonde hair. He's wearing the black singlet, and he also has a C time of 4:22. And then Will is a couple spots behind. He has red hair and a buzz cut kind of. So I'm leading the chase pack there, and I'm not really closing the gap because I don't want to push too hard if I'm leading. But yeah, now we come up on 700 meters. Now you can see the gap is even further. Owen probably has 2.5 seconds on us instead of like 1.5. So he's really lengthening the gap, and now somebody passes me there, and I'm like, okay, finally somebody passes me. I can draft off him so we can catch back up to Owen, and I don't have to be the one leading. So you can see there, even the guy who is ahead of me is actually gapping me a little bit, but then I kind of close that, and there's kind of there's Owen in front, there's us two in second and third, and then there's a little chase pack behind us with the main players of Brady, the 4:22 guy, and Will, who's run 4:15. So Will's just kind of sitting back. I anticipated coming into the race that he was going to make his move with about 500 meters to go, because that's what he usually does in most races. But now you can see Brady there with 600 to go. He's trying to close the gap on Owen because he realizes we got 600 to go, and if somebody doesn't close this gap, then he's just going to run away with it. So I'm like, finally, again, now somebody's leading for me, which is great. and I'm just drafting off him. But now Brady's actually going even a little bit too quick for me, because you don't want to accelerate too fast. Otherwise, that uses up some energy. You want to be gradual in the way you speed up. So that's the most efficient way to do that. But now Owen still has a gap, but you can see Brady really closing the gap on Owen. Will now is really coming back from the chase pack. He's in 4th right now. I'm in 3rd. Owen's in front. We come through the 1200 at 3:19, so we're on about 4:23 pace, which is somewhat fast, but we're going to have a kick here. So Brady's in the lead. He's leading in the wind. We're all kind of in no man's land a little bit, but I pass Owen here. Owen's fading a little bit, kind of, but now Will also passes Owen there, and Will's really trying to go for me, and ultimately Brady. Now here's a better shot of it. But Brady's leading by a good second. Will comes up on my shoulder, and I push him out to lane 2, because I know if I can push him to lane 2 right now and fend him off, he's going to have to run extra distance, and it's going to be harder. And the game plan in the race right now is to go hard with 100 meters to go. So right here, you can see I swing wide. I'm going for it, everything I got, and I take the lead right here. I start to gap them by just a little bit. Brady's on the inside, but Will's coming strong on the outside. And then they just kind of pull away just a little bit, and it's too much for me, and they outkick me. So yeah, 4:19 for the winners. I had 4:20. I lost by just, I think it was 0.7 of a second. So it was a great race. Pretty good tactics, but just couldn't come up with the win. So yeah, that's the series now. So I did not achieve the goal of winning 2 events as a freshman. I did win 1 event. I placed 3rd in the other. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a pretty good race. My last lap was a 61. My tactics were pretty good. Time was 4:20. So I PR'd. Everything was good. It wasn't perfect. I probably went my kick a little bit too early with 100 meters to go, but I gave it everything I had, and I came, like I said, a little short. But now I'm going to have a series leading into cross country about trying to make it to NXN as a sophomore. So that's kind of the next series that you guys are going to see on the channel. We have kind of a 10-week base phase coming up to get ready for cross country, and then we'll get into some racing in this fall. So now I got a little season break, but other than that, hope you guys have a great day. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.